Yeah, I lived in Japan for 2 weeks.
I call that a vacation, but according to me, lived there. I lived in Central America, according to Matt. So I'm gonna use that now. That according to your metric, I'm using that.
I lived in Rio, Brazil. Welcome to Thicc Boy Fight Club. I'm your bulking boy,
I'm Tyson the Beast.
and our guest today is Matt, the Koi Fish Prophet, Ayuen. Before we get started, we gotta thank our sponsors. First and foremost, Top Mud Studios, Bearded Bites, Kangen Water, Blessed. Shout out our girl Blessed Edibles.
Just for kicks.
Just for Kicks.
Major Pack.
Kimura
Kimura.
Wear, Mo Mind. Who am I missing?
You said Top Mud Studios, right?
Yeah, we got some hate these days. Thank you for all the support.
What's the hurdle?
Oh, s'mores bars.
S'mores bars.
If you want. You're not calling them that anymore? Spores bars. I messed up.
It's only been like 3 months.
It's only been like 3 months.
We've only been doing this like all year. We're only here every week.
And Thicc Boy restaurant shout out for me. I found a new spot. I was like coming back from downtown after training, and there's this new spot open, Sina Persian Grill on Eglinton and Avenue, and it was like real authentic. I'm not gonna try to pronounce it, embarrass myself. Some of the names of the food, but they had like this chicken stew with walnut and pomegranate. It was made. It was like delicious. So Sina Persian Grill, check it out. Brand new restaurant.
Mine is gonna be for my home girl Fallon. It's a spot in Etobicoke, so you know we got rep. Muay East Indian. They make roti. We had a little discussion about who makes the best roti, whether it's East Indian or West Indian. It's all preference, it's all subjective, but it's West Indian. But shout out to another Etobicoke spot as always. I got a rep for the gang, took a break off the last one. So Maury East Indian roti here in Etobicoke. Yeah.
My food shouts. I got two. I got to represent the Asian gang. So Boba Cha. It's on Lakeshore and Port Credit. Really good bubble tea.
Lakeshore.
One of the few spots that offers non-dairy options. Why I love them so much. They got like waffles and stuff. And a classic stay of mine's Luca's Pizza. Dope pizza.
Luca's
really
Pizza.
good. I highly recommend
Where's it at? Where's that at?
it. Rockwood Mall.
Near you.
Yeah, right now.
Oh, that's the block. Okay.
I actually just thought of another one that we gotta give a shout out to. One I recommended for you guys because you guys just came back from Costa Rica. The taco joint. Tell me those tacos weren't fire.
So fire.
All right.
Oh my God.
I ate
Service
there
was a little
every
questionable
day.
at first, but
It is.
we
You
broke
wait
them down a little
forever
bit.
for your tacos, but when you get your spot, you keep it for like 2
And they have
hours. You
Jenga.
just keep ordering tacos.
And they have Jenga you can play right there.
We
It's,
did like 5 rounds of tacos.
it was
Easily.
vibes.
You finish eating, you're like another one.
Another
DJ
one.
It's
Khaled.
just like, oh man, it's the tacos.
Matt, enough.
What did you guys have? The shrimp?
Shrimp, chicken, I had the steak. What did you have?
I had the fish and shrimp twice.
Yeah, man.
The food in Costa Rica was amazing, by the way. It was a real thick boy thing. Like Panama, we already knew, but Costa Rica, I was amazed by their culinary prowess. Like it was asking like we didn't have a bad meal in Costa Rica. It was amazing. Didn't
Culinary
know.
wise, the best trip of my life. Like
Yeah.
every meal,
I can say that.
margaritas with every meal.
Yeah, every place I went to, that steakhouse we went to, where I didn't expect all that, like, you know. And another thing, because they're only open till 9, like a lot of places were still kind of like empty, so they were like really happy that we were coming in. Like one steakhouse, we were like their only customers that looked like all night, and like the service was amazing. People were very like grateful for the support. So yeah,
Yeah, you guys had a hell of a trip.
it really was. It really
Nice
was. Best. Like I said, I keep holding back, but it might have been the best trip I've ever taken. Like you think back about a lot of trips, and it's like, you know, when it's fresh, you may think that off top, but it's like as I think back now, it's like that might have been probably.
We gotta get back to Panama City. I want to fight.
Yeah,
there,
August, man. August. Hopefully, UCC is doing a show in August, so hopefully our guy gets on. Hopefully, they can have a crowd.
Yeah. Well, Matt, you've had quite a martial arts journey yourself. You've traveled all over the world. Muay Thai expert. Tell us a bit about yourself that, you know, our viewers don't know.
So Matt Ayuen, been doing martial arts since I was 3 years old. I started off with karate, like most of us. Did that. I was not a particularly athletic kid. I mean, I was very overweight. I looked like the Buddha on the Thicc Boy logo.
Literally, we're doing a picture. We're gonna post that today.
And you know, I like grew up watching anime and Ninja Turtles. I just wanted to be that. And did karate for a long time. I sucked at it. I improved. I started getting in shape. Got really sick, as you guys know, so I had a liver transplant. And when I went back to the dojo, everyone had kid gloves. No one wanted to hit me because no one wants to be that guy. But I wanted to train for real, and that's kind of how I started. I had a black belt already, so then I went into Muay Thai because I wanted to test myself. And then like it was hard to get a fight in Canada because of my medicals, so I just like fuck it, like went all the way to Thailand. And
You just wanted to get kicked in the liver. That
Yeah,
bad.
they have no
Yeah.
problem killing you over there.
Yeah,
It's like
right.
he's sick, whatever.
literally, like, where does it hurt? Then I want to hit you there.
That's where we're gonna go. Good place to
That's
fight.
crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that fight, man. You looked fantastic in that fight.
I look back on that fight and it was a brawl, man. Like I really wanted to be like more technical, you know. I'm happy I won. It was an interesting fight, but looking at like that was 5 years ago. Looking at the fighter I am now, I guess we all feel that way about our old fights. A little
Everyone
discouraged,
thinks
you
their
know?
first fight's gonna be like, oh, like I'm George St. Pierre, like, and then it is what it is. It's because it's not the same under the lights. No matter what you do in practice, your first fight is gonna be hard to match that. So, but like I said, it was a good fight from what I watched when you did it.
Yeah.
I've seen way worse brawling in Muay Thai than that. Like,
Definitely.
Full Muay Thai rules, 6-ounce gloves, no gear. It's an
yeah,
interesting
elbows,
first fight.
yeah, man. That's a big one, especially when nobody here wants to fight you because of your mat coach. Like, I want to go do the most dangerous in a country where if I die, like
You know me, that's my motto. Always
we've
do
all
the
seen
most.
kickboxers. People literally die in the ring in Thailand.
Yeah, man. What does that mean to you? You know what I mean? Because like martial arts.
It's funny. So one of my coaches always asks me, he's like, why do you want to fight? Like you have all these issues. And it took me a long time to answer that question. I think it had to do a little bit with like, I wanted to prove myself. I didn't believe myself. I grew up being bullied, being overweight. I knew I was talented at martial arts, but like, was it a real fight in the gym kind of thing? And we were in the dojo, and it was kind of traditional karate, which is more like self-defense. It wasn't really like a fight. And to go to Thailand, you know, 2 liver transplants or 1 liver transplant later at that point, to win a fight, to, you know, be 21 overseas for, you know, 4 months, do a whole training camp. It proved to me that like you can do anything. Because when I had my transplant, they told me I would never fight. They told me like I should reconsider my career. Like a lot of people that have been through what I've been through on disability. And through martial arts, like I was just able to prove like it's all mental. Like there's always a reason not to, but you can use that same reason to be why you have to. And that's what I did, right?
You said your first liver transplant.
My
so,
first liver transplant.
You
Yeah.
had 2.
I had 2.
In case you're wondering how bad a first one is.
What happened to your second one, man?
So originally I have a rare liver disease. I think it's 1 in 100,000. Those numbers might be slightly skewed, called primary sclerosing cholangitis, or PSC. So what happens is your immune system attacks your bile ducts. So the bile ducts in your liver ultimately scar and destroys your liver. Typically a slow progressing disease. So most on average you get diagnosed, and within 10 years there's no cure, but it's a transplant, right? For me, from like when I was diagnosed to being transplanted was like less than a year. One of the most aggressive cases they've seen. After my first transplant, I was 17. A year after, I went to China for 36 days, lived with monks, trained out there. Because being faced with your mortality is the best wake-up call you could ever have.
Amen, man.
Yeah.
Best wake-up call.
To live your life like.
Do what you want to do.
Yeah.
All my friends are like, I don't know what I'm going to do in university. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to live. So.
Yeah, life's fleeting.
Yeah.
You learned that early. At a young age, you learned that.
And I've lived an incredible life because of that. Like it sucked going through it. It's difficult. Even the health issues I have now, but I wouldn't trade it for the world. Like I'm the person that I am, and I've lived an incredible life. I've met awesome people. I've traveled the world.
I lived in Japan.
Yeah, I lived in Japan for 2 weeks.
I call that a vacation, but according to me, lived there. I lived in Central America, according to Matt. So I'm gonna use that. Now that according to your metric, I'm using
I
that.
lived in Rio, Brazil.
Yeah, we're using that. I
4
like
months
that.
there.
It's how you become more interesting.
I like that.
You know that Dos
I'm
Equis
not
commercial?
joking. That's a dope standard you have. I was like, that's all it takes to
You
claim
just
I
sit there
live
like
somewhere.
that and just with the beer and just tell about all your adventures.
I was so
Like a
hyped when he
pirate.
said that. He's like, I lived in Japan. I was like, oh, tell me, how long were you there? And he like gave me this look like 2 weeks. I was like, that's a vacation. I've lived a lot of places. If that's I lived in Europe, I lived in Central America. Like, I don't think that counts.
I'm just trying to be the most interesting man in the
You
world.
weren't. You said I was the first person to ask you that.
Oh, you're pretty up there. How'd you get your second liver then? And why? What happened with it?
So my first liver, they told me I didn't have enough time to wait for a deceased donor, which is usually a thing. Because, 1 in 3 people waiting for an organ will die. Or every 3 days someone dies waiting for an organ transplant. And the issue is not there's not enough organs, it's that there's not enough people that are aware of the issue that have registered to donate the organs. Luckily for me, my dad was a match. He's one of the oldest living donors. I think there's someone older than him. But super lucky. And it was actually supposed to be my first day of my senior year of high school. It was September 7th, 2010. It's supposed to be my first day of high school. It was the first day I was eligible to do my G2 driver's test because I wanted to do that. And I had like my failing liver removed and a piece of my dad's healthy one put in its place, which worked out really well. I was doing great in the hospital. It looked like I was going to break the record for the quickest discharge. And then I had like major rejection. So I almost lost the graft because the liver is foreign to me. So your immune system can attack that. So I ended up staying in the hospital a little bit longer. Eventually got re-diagnosed with the same disease because it's a disease that can reoccur. And at the time, it was the quickest reoccurrence, like medically recorded. But upon explantation, they realized like that first rejection really caused a lot of damage. So that was why I needed, so a few years later, I had another transplant, and things have been smooth since. Like I've been able to fight, I've been able to coach high-level guys like you, hold pads, like travel, like live the life. So all in all, it's a good story. Like you go through hard times so you can have the best of times.
Amen, man.
And like training and doing martial arts probably helped you so much focus on how to recover and how to come back from something like that, because it's not even just a process of recovery. It's like a process of discovery when you get injured. Like, Tyson had knee surgery, so it's nothing in comparison
Not the same,
to you.
yeah. It's
but
not
like,
the same.
you kind of get that feeling of being like, helpless.
Well, you learn. If you're smart, you learn from it. If you want to continue, at least, right? I know you know
Yeah.
tons of guys who one injury, and even though I haven't competed since I stayed healthy, I know a lot. You can detest guys get one injury and they kind of mentally tell themselves that's it, and I never kind of bought into that, and I can only imagine
Matt
going
is
through
a
what you went
shining
through.
example of that.
Yeah, literally.
Literally, and we got mad respect for you because of that.
Yeah, thank you guys. It's been a journey, and like I said, I would never trade it for anything. I learned a lot, and like it really feels like God's plan. It really feels like because of it, I've had like every kind of body type. I've been almost 190. I've been down to 115. So I've been very obese. I've been very skinny. Yeah, I used to be like hella lifters. I used to be like jacked. And,
Yeah.
I've had all these body types, and like as a coach, like you can't buy that kind of experimental knowledge, like to know what it's like to be fat, to know what it's like to be skinny, to know what it's like to
true.
be
Unhealthy, but like muscular.
like and having that awareness and like knowing what it's like to be in that body, I guess to an extent, like I can't change my height and stuff, I think it makes me a way better coach.
I could see that. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. Like to actually know what it's like to be overweight, and like it's one thing to say like you gained some weight, but like yeah, you're right. Like we're gonna post the picture. When I say this is literally what Matt looked like, nobody's gonna believe it looking at this interview. But when you see this picture, like people never know who it is. When I'm like, oh, this is Matt. They don't know who they're looking at.
Yeah.
And then when they see it, so like we're gonna post the picture. It's hilarious.
How long you been coaching now?
I mean, I taught karate like the kids, so like if you count that, like I did that for about 2 years, and then we all met at the UFC gym.
Yeah.
And that was my first real coaching job, which was crazy. Like shout out to Martin Peru who gave me a shot. Like
Shout out to Martin Peru, professor.
He gave me a call and he's like, I just got back from Thailand. Dennis, who you guys had at your podcast, was my first Muay Thai coach, and
Shout out the
Yeah.
Bosnian Menace.
The
the
Watch your
Bosnian
freaks.
Menace, yeah.
Watch your freaks.
And he just took a chance on me. I guess he saw something in me. I was like, look, I'm not I fought once. Like, I don't know if I can coach. He's like, I've seen you. I believe in you. Because I applied to the gym as a kids coach. And they just like gave me the Muay Thai program. And I remember when I started teaching Muay Thai, there was like 2 people in my class. I would show up sometimes and there'd be no students that showed up. And then eventually becoming like the most popular class, like having to turn people away, having classes of 40 people in that tiny mat space. It's been a crazy journey. I think I've branded myself well. I created Koi Fit out of that. And through that, like, I believe that I got to where I'm at because of martial arts. Like, I say martial arts saved my life in, like, physical altercations and, like, in a mental and spiritual way as well, and going through illness. And I created this empowering, inspiring movement, which is what Koi Fit's all about, right? And I think that's what makes a good coach. Like, most of us that will do martial arts are not fighters.
Yeah, facts. I tell it to guys all the time, coaches, young coaches, like understand that gym owners, when you learn that as a gym owner, you realize like, okay, you have to, because like I said, you never know that person that goes in just for fitness and then becomes a fighter. Like when I went to the gym for the first time, I did not think I was going to be a fighter. I literally went in to lose weight. I know that sounds funny. I went to a boxing gym. And that's literally how it started. And just having the right coaches around you. I'm sure you can attest to having guys who now want to fight that you probably never thought they'd want to.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you understand that, you'll actually get fighters that way as well.
I think almost all around, a lot of people go to martial arts for a lot of different reasons, but I think it's to seek empowerment. There's some reason in your life where you don't feel powerful enough, or you feel a lack of power, a lack of aliveness. There's a lack of, and I think that's why people seek out martial arts, right? That old school, like, who I want to grow up to be, that sensei with that long white beard.
You're gonna be him, Confucius guy. You went from Buddha to Confucius.
Yeah.
Like we're gonna do a side by side of both.
But like you guys train people, like you see it. People come to martial arts because they walk with their head down. They curl their shoulders. They don't feel satisfied with what they're capable of. They feel down on themselves. And through martial arts, like it teaches accountability. It teaches to accept where you are and love the process, like that never-ending journey. So I always use the analogy chasing sunsets. So it's something my first sensei said to me. He's like, in the pursuit of the horizon, by pursuing something unachievable, my potential becomes limitless.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, kind of, we've been saying this a lot with what's going on. Is like humans aren't meant to be too comfortable, and I think comfort is what has caused a lot of this weird depression with people who, you know, people in other parts of the world think you have everything, but I really believe that we seek resistance. And I've said before, you're the one who said this. Like, the reason a lot of martial arts have the views they do about what's going on in the world is because we seek knowledge and truth. And for a lot of people, they don't have that, and they're seeking it in the wrong place. I think that's where a lot of our issues are coming from, politically, socially, is that we're so comfortable. We need something to give our life meaning.
It's hard for us to almost even convey what martial arts has done for us, because we each have our own journey, but like it's literally saved all three of our lives in different ways. You know what I mean? And to me, when you get to do martial arts, like you get so empowered. You go, I can't believe I do these things that I never thought I'd be able to do with people, and you also get humbled. You get unbelievably humbled.
You have no choice but to be humbled.
You get beat, and then you get both feelings, and you get like a spectrum, and you get a better perspective of yourself, and you continue that kind of pursuit.
I think that's
who you really are and what your potential could be.
Yeah, you know, especially when we were at the UFC gym, you saw people, you know, whether they had a good job, they were in school, nothing, but they, like you said, there was this lack of meaning they felt in their life. And I've always said that's why, I mean, look how big jiu-jitsu's gotten now. Who would have thought that, like, 40, 50-year-old lawyers would want to do jiu-jitsu for the first time in their life? Women, you know, shout out to our girl Joanna, a world champion in her 40s. Like, these are, like, who would ever thought that these would be the type of people?
Think about lawyers that have come to us and after training and doing jiu-jitsu want to be like, they're lacking this, like, wanting to test themselves. And it's, I think it has to do with, there is no real initiation in today's culture. You know
Huge.
What I mean? And you need that. You need that almost to be disconnected, you know, literally from the boy or the girl, from your maternal links. Like, you need to go through an initiation process that's like, that challenges you, that gives you conflict. And I think we're missing that. And you can kind of seek that.
And we're having a goal. We've taken, like, society's now gone so used to trying to we've become an enabling society. This year has proved that more than anything. We're more concerned about enabling than responsibility. People are way more concerned with their rights than their responsibility. And martial arts gives you a standard where you don't, and obviously in certain martial arts it's changed, but you don't get to just call yourself a black belt, right, in jiu-jitsu. This is why I think jiu-jitsu got so popular, because a lot of other martial arts became an enabling type of martial art.
Yeah, sure.
You become a black belt at 11. That's not happening in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, I got to give you a shout out to my guy, Brendan. We're going to have him on the show.
Yeah.
You know, I was just training with him, and he was saying, like, somebody asked me for a belt promotion, and he was like, literally, like in his Brazilian accent, like, don't fucking ask me for a belt. Like, telling me, like, that's what he's thinking, because you don't ask for a belt.
Yeah,
you get it when you deserve it, and it's the journey, and you could take 4 years, 5 years, 6 years till you get me.
And you see the difference in certain places.
Earn it, you know what I mean?
Here in Canada, and I love Canada, but, like, one thing I've noticed is that is a way bigger deal here is your belt than your skill. I've seen more issues in the 4 years I've been here about that than the 15 years I was in a place that has tons of UFC fighters in Kansas City. Like, you don't ask for those type of things, because, like, I've never seen so many gyms and jiu-jitsu coaches go through the madness you see here in Canada. I think it's that enabling idea that I've been doing this long, I should be a blue belt. Well, no, you're not good enough. You didn't show up enough.
The respect is earned on the mat, and you get, and through that those are the kind of lessons that you can put on into your life, because that is an initiation process, and that's what people are kind of lacking, no matter what kind of success they gain.
So, like, I have a question, because, like, obviously we do jiu-jitsu, you know, for you, obviously much higher belted, but you've done both karate and Muay Thai. There is no, now people make jokes about whether or not you can have a belt in Muay Thai. Like there's jokes about, like, Brazilians that call themselves black belts, but overall Muay Thai isn't that type of thing where literally you're only going to get your respect by skill set. You don't get to walk a room and call yourself a black belt in Muay Thai. I've seen guys get respect in jiu-jitsu based off their belt rank, and then you roll with them, it's like, you're not that rank. You know what I mean? Like, what's it like going from karate where, like I said, you were black belt how old in karate?
I had to be, so for my school, we had to have a high school diploma. We had to write a written test, write an essay, and pass, like, a physical exam. So you had to be 18 to get a black belt.
But even then, the idea that just being 18, what was it like to then go into Muay Thai where, like, nobody gave a fuck how long you've been doing it. They didn't care what, like, you're going to prove it on the mat.
Like, that's a great basis, and it shows a level of martial arts, what it can do for people, like, in that context of karate. But
like, what was it like? Because
into the next level on your journey when you got ready for Muay Thai, where your karate belt, black belt didn't mean anything.
And you go into places like Thailand where guys are like literally trying to knock themselves out. It's true. In sparring, like Muay Thai is, you know what I mean? Like that, because that's the only way you actually get your respect. Nobody
Those are the
cares.
foreigners. The
how
Thai
long-
guys play because they fight.
Good point.
so
Good
damn
point.
much.
Yeah. More of the Europeans that are trying to kill each other. Yeah.
Yeah, the Russian guys. It's always like when I see a Russian guy at a Thai camp, I'm like, I'm gonna watch you.
Or the
spar
Dutch.
before I
They try to
spar.
kill
The
each
Dutch
other.
kickboxers.
They try to kill each other. But what's that like to see the difference of where, okay, as long as I have these things, I get to be a black belt, and then where this is, I could be doing this 10 years. If you come and kick my ass up when you already were more respect in the gym in Muay Thai, like what is that like?
I learned real quick that it's a cultural thing and it's much more in the West. And then so you look at the history of where a black belt came from. I believe my terminology went wrong. I get hit in the head a lot, but it's the Meiji Restoration. So what's happening is martial arts was getting bastardized in Japan. So guys would like, I'd go to a city over and be like, Bon, teach me something. And then I'd go back to my school, a city over, and be like, I'm a black belt, and I'll teach the class he taught me. And so martial arts was getting watered down.
I didn't know that.
And they're like, nah, this can't fly. So they started giving black belts to only legit people. So it was like a sort of diploma being like, you are qualified to teach. But if you're not fighting, the thing is, especially in the West, like that constant instant gratification culture, people are not going to train unless they get a reward.
Exactly.
It's the reality, right? What are you training for? Are you training for a fight? Are you training because most people will not just train because they love it. They need
As I'm
a
getting
short-term
older,
goal.
the reward is the training.
100%. But we're fighters.
As I'm getting older,
It's
the
always
reward is
been
the
that
training,
if you do
know?
it right. That's why I don't
It's
care
like
about
it's a
belt.
celebration
Yeah.
of what your body can do, and I just feel you feel so alive. You know what I mean? When
But it's
you're
the
really pushing
1%.
yourself.
If I'm running a business and I have bills to pay, I can't expect 50 boyons to pay my bills. There's not 50 guys
True.
that think like that. So I have to give them short-term goals that are achievable for them to focus on that so I can keep my doors open, keep my lights on.
It's such a weird balance you have to have. Like people give me crap about when I was in Panama because I was wearing the white belt, and it was like I don't care. Like,
Can we just roll?
Yeah, like people get in the picture. It's like, yeah, but like you can see whatever you want in the picture. When we roll, that your belt is not gonna save you. Like you having that pro belt is not gonna save you once we. But people give me crap about taking the picture in the white belt because I'm not white. It's like, it was the only gi there. I'm not gonna be like, I can't wear this in a picture. Like it's like, what's that like for you now that you're teaching Muay Thai? Like, because now we've had this conversation about finding a way to kind of give people rewards in Muay Thai without watering it down. Like, what's that been like trying to find that balance?
So it's interesting, and I've been doing a lot more private training. The balance is, it creates a curriculum, right? So one-on-one coaching, I can look at your strengths, I can look at your build, and I can teach you different things. But at the end of the day, if I'm teaching 40 hours a week, I better have a curriculum.
Amen.
I better be able to, and it allows me to separate the class, right? I can't, like some of the drills that we run, I can't have my beginners that have been training for a year do that,
Obviously,
right?
yeah,
So, but if I can go, I know a gym in Calgary, they do patches. So there's different color
Yeah,
patches
we were
you
talking
sew
about
on
the
their
patches
shorts.
or the shorts.
So I can be like, everyone with a purple patch and up, you're on this side of the gym. I teach the lower version that's simpler here, and then I teach an alternate, more complicated version here, and then all the black shorts or whatever. It allows me to separate the class so I can teach all levels at once. And
it gives
people's
something in
feelings
the-
get hurt,
Yeah,
right? I can't be like, you're a beginner and your best friend, like you're the intermediate class, his feelings get hurt. But if it's like, oh, you haven't passed the test, like it's more acceptable.
Amen.
It's really a business strategy more than a martial arts strategy in my mind. And it keeps people interested.
Well, I think you've been doing an awesome job. So tell people before we wrap it up where they can get a hold of you, your website, your Instagram, any content you have out there, like where people can find
Yeah,
more
plug
about
yourself,
Matt Ayuen.
plug yourself, Matt.
Do your thing, brother.
So Instagram's probably the best place. So Koi Fish Profit. I have a koi.fit page as well. That's the best place to reach me, doing small group training as well as one-on-ones. We post technique videos, which you guys are helping me with, and that's the best place to reach me.
Awesome. Well, guys, we're happy to be back. Me and Matt were gone for a while. Shout
Glad
out
to have you back.
Top
He's
Mud
the
for
best
holding it
pad holder
down.
we got, so
Yes,
don't take
yeah.
him away.
I know we
anymore,
took
right?
everything. I'm taking
Just
him away
so you
again
guys
soon.
know, like he comes prepared to hold pads. He's got
Yeah,
everything.
holds it
the body
down for
shield.
us, yeah.
I think we even made him a calf shield. Like he's a fantastic pad holder, and like I just gotta let that be known.
So yeah, guys, we're back at it. We got tanks dropping soon. They'll be coming out. Shout out to
The
Mo
gloves,
Mine.
which
gloves
we
are
hope
coming
are
soon.
coming soon.
Obviously, yeah, we've been dealing with some stuff. They're coming from India, and everyone knows that's a mess right now. But gloves, and we got 2 other drops coming that I'm not gonna say anything about yet until we actually get the samples. But super exciting stuff coming from Thicc Boy. But be on the lookout for the tanks and the gloves. I'm Tyson the Beast.
Balkan boy,
Koi Fish Profit, Matt.
Thicc gang. It's gonna be a Thicc boy summer.
Yep.